we're going to move this back so my hair is in perfect. Hello, fellow Flosstubers. Welcome back to my channel. It's the middle of the night, but I fell asleep early because this has been a horrible weekend. For those of you that don't know, I work in hospice and I cover from on call from Friday night to Monday morning. And I think everyone is being discharged out of the hospital because of the holiday, because we're just getting admissions. And so the bigger the group of people, the more likely I have to run out and help somebody or pronounce somebody or whatever. And actually, I wanted to show you an unboxing. I'm going to kind of unbox. I have already unboxed, but I was so impressed by what I got that I wanted to share. So that's what this video is today. But I also discovered something about myself tonight that I wanted to share as well, because sharing is caring. I got pulled over by the cops. This is because I was sleeping and then I got a phone call that somebody died, and I kind of just hopped out of bed and put a sweater on, I was kind of laying in this and I just put a sweater on and I thought, it's Sunday. I'm not putting on my scrubs. They're going to take me as I am. And, got in the car and just started driving. And 5 minutes into my drive, the lights came on behind me. And, the officer is like, have you been drinking? And I said, just a lot of coffee. Just a lot of coffee. Yeah. So anyway, that was really cringy. And it made me remember a time when I was, going to a lot of comic book conventions with my oldest daughter. She was probably 12, 13, 14. And I was younger, but I was very immature. And, I was really, into comic books, and I still am to a degree. I just don't read as much as I used to. I'm more into watching things while I cross stitch. So I don't really read like I used to, but I was really into comic books, and there were certain comic books I was especially into. I've talked about this in other videos. I mean, you'd have to be a diehard fan to remember, but one of them is definitely David Peterson. I'll put a picture of his work up just to show you. He does a comic book called Mouse Guard, which was one of my favorites. But David Peterson, I think he's a little autistic too, or socially awkward to say the least. And so, when I approached him at his booth and kept gushing about how amazing his story is and how I love his animation style, and I was giggling at his bad jokes, and he was kind of laughing at my bad jokes, and the whole situation was very awkward. And my daughter wanted to kind of hide. And she said to me, why do you always act so weird around people you like? Yeah. But I don't think it's that I'm acting weird around people I like. I think it's that I act weird when I'm nervous. So that brings me back to the coffee incident tonight when he asked if I was drinking. And I said, just a lot of coffee. And then laughed. But anyway, because I told him that I had to go pronounce a patient that died, he just gave me a warning and said, don't swerve all over the road. I was barely swerving. I guess one time and another time. And then I coasted through a stop sign. But there was no one coming. I mean, it's midnight. Cut me some slack. Well, he did. He cut me some slack. He didn't even have me sign anything. He just sent me on my way. So maybe it's like a first responders thing. We all fist bump. I don't know. Or maybe he just thought I was weird. But that's my story for the day. Anyway, I had thought about with this channel, I don't know if you guys want to hear all this stuff or if you'd just rather see the goods. I have always liked watching Ginger Gerald Stitches, Flosstuber, and I'm just fascinated with anything he talks about. I don't care at all about plants, but I just enjoy watching him talk about his life and the things that interest him. And it's just kind of like a very personal, simple, warm sweater of a vlog that I could just wrap myself up in and, curl up with some stitching and listen to him talk about the things that he's working on, things he's doing, and how things are going in his day. And so that's kind of the stuff that I think is interesting, but I don't know if everyone feels that way. Like, I don't know if you all want to really hear about my police getting pulled over story, or if I should just cut it out and just stick with the stitching. So, let me know. I really don't want to make a second channel. I know people do that too. Like, I don't want to have my cross stitch channel and my crazy autistic antic channel. So I'd rather just keep it all here and this just be my channel, the channel about me. And I title my things appropriately. So if it doesn't have cross stitch in it, I won't title it with cross stitch. And as long as that's okay with you guys, that's what I'm going to do. But there's kind of a couple times when I thought this might be interesting. Like, they talk about, well, I won't get into it. But I was thinking about something tonight that it might have been something really interesting to share. But it has nothing to do with cross stitch. And I just hold myself back because I think, I don't know, everyone that subscribed to me because of the cross stitching, which I love. I love you guys. I love my cross stitching. I have so many new starts I'm working on in these next 2 weeks. I'm going to do a whole showcase of the new ones I'm working on and show you my new, paint to canvas, so to speak, of my new starts. And I also have to do a whip parade. So those things are definitely coming up before the end of the year. So I am definitely playing cross stitch videos, but I just think it's interesting to have these other things too, at least for my own sake, that I can kind of go back and reflect upon when I start to become demented and forget everything. And then I'll think that I'm watching my daughter instead of myself or something. But anyway, so I wanted to talk to you about cross stitch. 20 minutes later, or 7.5 minutes later, I got this in the mail. I've never bought a kit before. I've always gotten patterns, PDFs, and then piece together what I want to do with it. So this is the first time I ever actually got a full kit, which is cool. It's cool to kind of open this up and stuff. But this is, I don't know. This is like, it's from Russia. Like you can see the, if I can catch it. This is Russian. All this is in Russian. The instructions are in English though. I don't know what this means. I think that's cat. What that is, you tell me. But I just call him my Cheshire Cat. Jan Hicks Creates did a whip parade. She did a whip parade that was like 6 hours. It was 3 parts. And it was like 2.5 hours each. That is a lot of projects. But this is one that I saw. Like I was taking notes. And that's the thing about, I think that's why you all watch whip parades. Don't tell me I'm lying. You all watch it because it's a way to go shopping. But I was taking notes and I really like this pattern that she's working on. So I tracked it down, not knowing it came in a kit. And I think it was like $75. Don't quote me on that. For the whole thing with shipping. So it came in this little, I have it all kind of jambalayed up right now, but it did come, like all the floss was in bags together. And as I was pulling it all apart, I thought, I really want to share with you guys how this looks. So that if you are interested, because this is from Owl Forrest Embroidery, and they have a lot of different patterns that are unique to their shop, but I'm finding it to be increasingly hard to get things shipped from Russia. I have another thing that I'm ordering, a Barbara Anna, that got sent back, and they're trying it again. I don't know if I'm going to get it. It might have just been a complete waste of money. And it's the only place I've been able to find the pattern is from the store in Russia. So fingers crossed. But anyway, I thought they put somewhere on here, what the linen is, but I can't find it. Yeah, I don't know. But it says to cross stitch 2 strands over 2 threads of fabric, 2 over 2. And one of my new starts is 1 over 1, 32 count. I've never done one that small before. I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm going to stick with it because I want to try to do smaller pieces like that, or at least one. I was going to do another one in that size, but I'm scrapping. Redo. I was going to do another one in that size, 32 count, but I think I'm going to do that in a larger. I think I'm only going to do one because I have a strong feeling that I'm going to probably procrastinate and drag my feet on working on that project. And I really like the project, so I don't want to dislike it because I'm trying to stitch it on something too small that I don't really like stitching on. Usually when I do 1 over 1, I do it on 28 count. Ada, and this time I'm doing it on a 32 count linen, so it's smaller and more difficult because it's linen. Yeah, so I'll talk about that more in my new starts video. But anyway, okay, back to this. So anyway, this is the linen. I already put it on the Q-snap and it doesn't quite fit the bottom. It's a small piece, even though it's 2 over 2. I think the final count is going to be, I think it's going to be like 8 inches, maybe 8 by, I don't see it on here. It's in centimeters on here anyway, I'm sure. But the stitch count is 189 by 111. And I think this is probably 28 count. So anyway, yeah, it's not going to be too, I think it's like 8 by 14 or something like that. Might be this size. So I factored in, there's 1.5 inches of space on all corners for the linen that they cut, and I marked it off and then tried to fit it in this Q-snap, but it doesn't, the 1.5 inches, I prefer 2 inches or more. With a Q-snap, if you're using a Q-snap, you almost need 2 inches or more of border, or else it doesn't really clip very well. Like in this case, I have, here's the end, and then there's 1.5 inches here, but see how loose it is. It's like, this just pulls right out, see? Now this isn't a Q-snap brand name. This is from, I think this is the Hobby Lobby one. I did a video about the different Q-snaps, and Hobby Lobbies are the worst, even though they're my favorite store. So anyway, if you're ever wondering, like I always put 3 inches of border on any project I'm doing. And so the fact they cut it to 1.5, that just is going to be a pain only in the corners, you know, because it's not a full coverage piece. I'll endure. It's just annoying. So see, it's not going to stay in the Q-snap very well. It just falls right out. But anyway, that's the linen. So it's an off-white kind of cream colored linen. Nothing too spectacular, but it's the floss that I'm really excited about. I've never really had a hand-dyed variegated floss, and they sent me all of them, but look how they come. So this is the design. I mean, the key code or whatever you call it. The owl is like Owl Forrest Embroidery's little logo. So that's on every single one. See, and then the things at the bottom. And then the floss is kind of tied to the top. Isn't that cute? So when they came in the bag, I'll just show you a few of them, but they were all kind of lined up like that, tied to these cardboards. I think what I'm going to do is, I'm so used to using bobbins, I'm probably just going to put them right on the bobbin And that's why I wanted to show this to you tonight, because I'm going to start stitching. I have to do, even though I won nothing, I don't think, for No New Starts 2021, I'm going to participate in 2022. I have to wonder, I got sick the last day of No New Starts 2021, and I didn't really completely upload to my folder, and maybe I disqualified myself on the very last day. Doesn't that suck? But for whatever reason, I don't think I won anything. Nothing. Sad. But I'm doing it again just because it's a good way to, I like the fact that I spent all year kind of planning a new project, trying to find new starts. And a lot of them get eliminated because I'm not impulse buying them. There was a bunch that I would have probably started had I been unrestricted, that I ended up abandoning because I didn't really want to do them after all. So it gives me time to really think about what I'm going to be creating and what I want to create. It's kind of cool. So anyway, yeah, these colors are all, and I don't know if it shows up in this. This is my phone camera. I found out that my phone needs to be replaced because it isn't eligible on the 5G network. So I think relatively soon it's going to stop working completely. So I need to go get it upgraded, which means I have to transfer everything to a new phone, and I hate that because I hate that. But maybe my camera will be better. That for close-ups, that's the thing. Like I think my camera doesn't need to be any more detailed on my face than it already is, because it shows enough. It doesn't need to show any more, but I wish it could show you the detail of this floss. Like I can't, yeah, you can kind of see it there. You're just gonna have to watch it on your 72-inch TV to get a decent view of these colors. Like I said, I've never had variegated floss, so I thought that was really cool. The other thing that's cool, I'm doing this so I don't talk right into my mic, so I should put my stuff over here so I don't have to listen chin up like a weirdo. So in my little welcome pack, pattern pack, is this how-to instruction book on what ways you can stitch a variegated floss and how it looks. So if you stitch it this way, this is the back, this is the front. You see? And if you stitch it this way, this is the back, this is the front. And so it kind of gives you a sense of where those, if you can even make that out, I know it's pretty small, but it kind of gives you a sense of where those colors end up. So I think I'm going to do, I don't usually do it this way. I do sometimes, but I often I'll like do it this way, where I do a row and I come back. So the back is cleaner. But if I do each stitch, like in this, I like how it turns out better. So I wish I could show that to you better. Maybe I can get a picture of it and pop it up there so you understand what I'm talking about. But I thought that was neat because I haven't stitched with variegated before. It was really kind of a nice touch that they added this so that you could see what your options were. And the one side's in Russian and then the other side's in English. So it has a lot of recommendations about how to clean it, how to iron it after it's done, recommended framing it. So I don't know, that's cool. So also the pattern itself, and I'm going to show you just a little bit because I know honestly you could probably look at the picture and figure it out if you tried hard enough. But anyway, so with the pattern, there's one big, well, this is on 2 pages, okay? The whole pattern, like this, with the key at the bottom. And then they also have the exact same pattern in chunks, chunk. chunk, chunk, chunk. So that's what I'm going to do. I actually cut out first chunk, which is the top left corner. And now all I have to do, I just need this one little piece that I can kind of clip up in my area and reference instead of having to work with larger pieces of paper. Like all the Long Dog sampler patterns and stuff that came, there's always an 8x10 piece of paper. So I don't know, this is nice to have just this little piece. The last thing that I wasn't expecting that came in this package was this needle minder and a needle, which I don't know why these craft stores, and maybe it's just in my area, but none of them have needles higher than 24 size. Like, where are the 26, 28s? It's always 24, and I would prefer a smaller needle. I'm not using an embroidery needle. I'll have pincushion fingers. I have to have tapestry needle. But anyway, if you can see, it's like a wintry moonlit canopy. So I have not used needle minders because my son was putting them in his mouth and I was terrified that he'd swallow them. But he's not been doing the mouth thing so much anymore, so I'll give it a try. I'll put it on this one and see if he'll try to take it from me. If he does, then bye-bye needle minder. But anyway, so that's what I had to show you today. I still managed to make this video so long. It's because I love talking to you. You people who love to hear about the craft and endure my ramblings. I love you all so much. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.